This one is a hike to the summit of Mount Pinos, or Mount Pinos, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, in the Los Padres National Forest. And here's the trailhead where we started our trip on up the mountain. Most of the trip is following this fire road on up towards the summit. Dale stops for a minute to take a look at a sign indicating that this is a winter cross-country skiing area. And the trail very quickly gets into some very beautiful mountain wooded areas. And even though it's the middle of summer, we find some wildflowers along the side of the road. This seems to be a quite common occurrence on some of these hikes. I guess the fact that we're up over 8,000 feet in elevation has something to do with it. And then along the way we find some kind of interesting rock formations. But then Jack continues his trek on up through the woods on a very, very beautiful day. The start of this hike is at the end of a road not too far from the mountain town of Fraser Park. And then a little farther up we come upon a wide open meadow area. We found several similar areas along the way. At first we thought these might be man-made cleared areas, but we couldn't find any evidence of that, so I guess it's all done by Mother Nature. And then finally Dale reaches towards the top of the mountain. And then here it is. Along with a descriptive sign telling us where we are. And at an elevation of 8,831 feet. And this descriptive sign gives us a little bit of the history of the area, and that the Chumash Indians called this area, this summit, the center of the world. And then there's another trail system that ends up here called the Vincent Tumamate Trail. And this one is named after an Indian storyteller who passed away in 1992. And then a short ways down along the Tumamate Trail is a very nice lookout spot. And from this vantage point, we get a pretty nice view of the Los Padres National Forest around us. This is a hike that we talked about doing quite a bit, but took a long time to get around doing it. And in fact, we're quite glad that we did, especially on a beautiful day like today. A little bit hazy, but even a view of the desert beyond. And before starting back, we take a little bit of a look around this high country. And lo and behold, what do we find but all the comforts of home, although not too private. And then we can look down at what I think is the town of Fraser Park. And not too far from the summit are these communication towers, so we thought we'd go up and take a look. And here we ran across a father and son bicycle duel. who had been on about a 10-day trip exploring the wilds. And then it was back down the trail to get to our starting point. This ended up being a hike of roughly 4 miles with a fairly moderate elevation gain to see some beautiful countryside.